Book Club. Hey everyone, Dan here from One Man Book Club. I have a special book for you today. At least I thought it was so special. I loved it so much. This is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. What defines a classic novel? This book got me thinking. At what point does a story transcend all the others and become eternal? It's not age, it's not genre, it's not language, length, it's not style. I mean, check out the internet. I'm not the only one trying to figure this out. It seems to me the classics do have a few things in common, though. Here's what I think. One, a classic has a universal theme that examines how humans behave, like things like growing up or death that comes to us all, or love or power, stuff like that. Two, a classic is so well written, it begs to be read over and over and over. Three, it defines a genre. Four, its message resonates as much today as it did whenever it was written. Five, its characters connect with the reader. And six, its message is open to interpretation. It doesn't tell you how to judge its characters. Okay, there you go. There's 6 things that define a classic. I just did it. I just defined classic literature. Go to the internet. I figured it out. It fits Harry Potter. It fits The Count of Monte Cristo. It fits The Great Gatsby. It fits Ender's Game. It fits Lord of the Rings. It fits Pride and Prejudice. It fits all of them. It fits A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. What a wonderful story this is. I wish I'd read A Tree Grows in Brooklyn years ago. I went into it with zero expectations. Honestly, I wasn't even aware that this book existed before I picked up both the ebook and the audiobook back in 2020 in anticipation of a future appetite for when I had assumed, for what I assumed would be this contemporary coming-of-age character drama. That's what I expected. And that's why I picked it up. But even then, it sat on my unread list. It sat on my Mount TBR, as I like to call it, for nearly 3 years. Oh, and I even only picked it up now because I'd exhausted all my unread audiobooks and I needed something for the car. I had an inkling early on. I'd stumbled on something pretty special. It started off slow in that way that many books do while you acclimate to a new voice, but I was really quickly snared. Listening in the car wasn't enough. I typically have an audiobook and a separate ebook in progress at all times, but I paused the ebook I was working on for this. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn demanded all of my attention. What was going on? This book was written in 1943 by an author who died in 1972. By the way, I had no idea. I had to check the publication date when I was about a quarter of the way through because I was shocked it wasn't written by a contemporary author. So why did this book grip me so hard? It's about a little girl growing up in pre-World War I Brooklyn, New York, and that's it. Literally, that's what the book is about from beginning to end. So what was it that had me so engaged? There was no mystery, there's no plot twists, there's no great love story, there's no magic, there's no evil to fight. What was it about this unknown book that unexpectedly bound me so tight that I could only free myself slowly, a page at a time? Well, I think I figured it out. I think it's 2 things. First, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn is a literal time machine. And second, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn is all of us. So first, yes, I am now a time traveler. I don't have a DeLorean or a flux capacitor, but I did spend a few amazing days in Brooklyn, New York between 1912 and 1918. I lived with a poor family, poor but determined, who called themselves Nolan, in their small tenement apartment. I went to school with Francie and Neely, the Nolan children, and I watched them grow from being innocent to their poverty to wanting to rise above it. I spent hours scrubbing floors with Katie, their mother, who refused to let poverty deny the American dream for her children. And I despaired as a dad, along with Dad Johnny, who loved his family powerfully but couldn't support them with the things that they needed. As I spent these few days with the Nolans, I experienced the New York that I've only imagined in pictures and ideas. I was there. I saw first generations Americans on the street and in their homes. I watched them talk to each other in German and Italian and in Polish, merging cultures while trying to preserve identities that ultimately created America. I went to church with them. I went to school with them. I went to plays with them. I sang their songs. I was there when they were born. I was there when they died. I was there when they fell in love. I was there when they realized that they were the same as that tree growing in Brooklyn that just wouldn't die no matter what the city did to it to try to kill it. It just kept on living. And they did too. And that is also how a tree grows in Brooklyn is all of us. Oh my goodness, it was amazing. How did Betty Smith paint such a vivid picture with her words? It turns out that the story is actually semi-autobiographical. Betty Smith grew up in the Brooklyn tenements that she wrote about. She lived what she wrote firsthand, and she told a story about it. And it is a treasure. What a wonderful story. There's no modern content concerns. Things like sex, violence, language. Again, it was written in 1943, but there are plenty of mature scenes, or mature situations, I should say, and plenty of grown-up themes. Love and loss, depictions of poverty, alcoholism are present. There is a dramatic scene of an attempted abduction by a child sex predator. I recommend A Tree Grows in Brooklyn to any mature reader and to all advanced lit teachers in high schools everywhere. I officially will say best for 16 and up. I loved A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. It was a transformational reading experience for me. I think it will be for you too. Happy reading, everyone.